Hey everyone, Christine Maggi here with another video in the careers series. In this video, I'm going over whether or not you should work for a startup. Startups, they're the hot new thing for designers, right? Everybody wants to work for a startup. They are very popular, especially in major cities. It seems like everyone is just wanting to work for startups. And I think that's for good reason, because they seem very glamorous, extremely cool, very exciting, and a lot of times they definitely are. But there's still a lot of things I think you should consider when thinking about working for a startup. So let's get into it. I finally got the chance to work for a startup this year, and I have to say it was completely different than any of the design agencies I've worked at before. So with that, let me start out with the pros. Obviously, number one, startups are super exciting. A startup means it's a business that is starting up. So they're coming up with a brand new product, a brand new service that's never been done before. The people really believe in what they're building. They are very motivated. They want to make their investors proud. They want to explode in popularity. They want to be the next Facebook, the next Uber. There's a lot of excitement happening in startups. And because of that, you tend to have very tight teams. It's sort of all hands on deck, everybody's in 100% and even more. And they seem to become very tight-knit groups, really working towards something. The next pro is that you're building something completely from scratch, from the ground up. So a lot of times in an agency, for example, the client will come in and they hand you an existing brand or an existing website, and it's your job to sort of come in and clean up the old mistakes or help get rid of some of that old technical debt. In a startup, you really don't have any of that. You can really jump in and do things the right way, do things how you would want to do them from the beginning, because there is no other way. So in that sense, it's great to be able to sort of set things up how you'd like. The next pro is there is a huge potential for growth. If you are an early designer on the team and you sort of are there at the beginning and you're coming in and establishing design for the rest of the product going forward, and you're introducing ideas and you're coming up with more efficient ways to do things, the more they grow, every time they bring more people on, you are going to have the leverage to grow within the company because you've been there and you've proven yourself. And all this happens extremely quickly. I've seen people go into startups as a regular junior designer or the only designer, and within a few years, they've now become the director of design, for example. So there's a huge potential there to grow and to become a leader in the company. This next thing I'm going to say is both a pro and a con, and that is that there are no rules. So because this has never been done before, because it's brand new, there's really no guidebook. You can do whatever it is you want, really. Startup founders, they're very open to new ideas, new processes, and a lot of times they are so busy doing what they're trying to do that they don't have time to sit down and tell you how to do your job. It's really up to you to hit the ground running and do things kind of however you want or the best way that you think it should be done. So then what's the con? The con is that there are no rules. It's kind of a free-for-all. It's very changing all the time. It's kind of unstable at times. Things can be done one way one week, and the next week everything's been put on its head and we're jumping ship on that and we're doing this now. It can be kind of tumultuous. So if you're somebody that can sort of roll with the punches, you're really flexible, spontaneous, you don't care about following a rule just for the sake of a rule, you really want to change as much as possible in order to ensure that you are doing things better, great. Startup's great for you. But for me, I'm the kind of person that prefer the company to have been through some of those changes and been through the tumultuous times and come out on the other side and learn from it. Again, it kind of goes both ways. No rules can be a good thing for you as an employee trying to establish yourself and do things how you want. But on the other hand, it means there's a lot of change, a lot of shifting priorities. So there's really a lot of potential for that kind of chaotic, free-for-all kind of feeling. All right, now I'm going to get into the cons. While I really don't have a ton of experience working at startups, I have interviewed at several of them. And one thing that kind of kept coming up over and over again in these interviews were that they wanted a lot of hours put in. A lot. A lot of startups will say that they have great work-life balance, but what they typically mean when they say that is that they have more of like a flexible time schedule. So they may not care that you're at your desk exactly at 8 a.m., but they do expect a lot of hours. And when I would ask these companies, what does a typical week look like? How many hours can I expect to be working? They would say consistently 50, 60-hour work weeks. Thankfully, the one I ended up working at was not like that, but a lot of them kind of expected you to be working and available around the clock. And I kind of think this makes sense because for a startup founder, this is your life. You're putting everything into the startup. It becomes what you live and breathe, and you start to kind of expect your team to follow suit. So on one hand, I get that. On the other hand, that's not really work-life balance. Like I said, not all startups are like that, but I have seen this and heard this as a consistent thing. So if you're someone that really believes in the startup and you're willing to give it everything, you're willing to sort of make it your life, and it doesn't feel like work to you because it's so exciting and everything, that's great. Do it. For me, I highly, highly value my time away from work. I need it for my health. I need it for my family. I need it just to have a life outside of work. For me, that was kind of a deal breaker on those particular jobs, unfortunately. The next con is the growing pains. And what I mean by growing pains is that as a startup, their whole goal is to grow, right? They want to get more customers, they want people to download their app or whatever, they want to grow their business, they want to have more and more employees, and every time a change happens, that's something brand new that they've not experienced before. With any startup, there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be challenges, they're going to learn from it and grow from it, but part of being in a startup is that you have to sort of ride those waves out with the company. The last con I want to talk about is the instability factor of startups. Nothing in life is guaranteed, and startups especially are not guaranteed to be successful. I don't know what the statistics are, but I know a lot of them, unfortunately, eventually will fail. Whether that's funding running out, whether that's the product not catching on like they thought, because of all the changes and instability, people leave because of wanting to save money, having layoffs happen. Any number of these things can mean a very unstable environment. For a lot of startups, it seems like most people don't work there more than a couple years, and so again, that just adds to the instability. Instability is unfortunately a very real aspect of working for a startup. That ends my list of pros and cons for startups, and I'm really curious as to what you think. If you want to work for a startup and I scared you or made you excited, let me know that too. Yes, it's exciting. Yes, there's room for growth. Yes, it's kind of all in, all hands on deck, a lot of work, a lot of hustle, a lot of change, but it can be really good for some people. So I hope this video gives you some insight that you didn't have before. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so if you'd like. That's all I have for this one. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.